hello, and welcome again to this special episode of the Resilient Voices of Refugee podcast. I'm your host, Solange, and today I'm so honored to be with an incredible guest, and I'll let him introduce himself. Claude, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Solange, for inviting me. My name is Claude Irumva, and I am um, a worker. I work at Kepler College as a course facilitator, and I work in Kiziba campus. I work in Kiziba campus. So I'm truly honored to be here, and I'm looking forward for an amazing conversation.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And as I said, this is a special episode, especially that we are in World Refugee Week, and tomorrow, just a few hours, we'll be celebrating World Refugee Day, a day that we recognize the strength, the resiliences of refugees around the world, and to honor their journey and also to congratulate them and to also stand with them, really. And thank you so much, Claude, for your introduction. And I know you've been working for and with refugees, especially in the education sector. And you're someone that I know has really worked so hard to make sure that refugees are not just included in terms of education, but also belong. And my question would be this theme, the theme for this year's World Refugee Day is solidarity with refugees. So, as somebody who has been working with refugees, what does true solidarity means to you, or how does it look like?
So thank you for a very nice question. So true solidarity to me means giving space to refugees and those who are forced to flee their nations because of different reasons. Solidarity with them for me means giving them space to do what they do best, because I believe they have capabilities and strength and so giving them a space, helping them to access education, they study, and then you give them opportunity to work, because studying is one, but also employment is another thing. So for me, true solidarity means giving space to refugees to attend education, but also hire them, because to give them space to study is not enough, but give them a chance to participate and compete in the labor market and get a job and survive, thrive. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That's indeed well said, and I love the fact that you recognize that they have capabilities. So it's up for us, for stakeholders, for institutions to trust them and believe in their potential. Because as you mentioned, there are people like others. They have skills, they have talents, they have a lot of things that they can contribute to the development of the host communities. And I've been working in advocacy space for the past few years, and I know that there are a lot of misconceptions about refugees. So maybe as somebody who has been working with refugees as well, and living with other people in the host community, what are some of the misconceptions that are spoken about refugees?
So if sorry, if I talk about misconceptions that people have around refugee, there are many. There are so many. Um, Me speaking as a former refugee, and speaking as a person working closely with refugees, I would say that there are many, because if you say a refugee, people tend to understand someone who is weak, poor, and the person um, I mean, they think that refugees are poor, they're not educated, and they feel like refugees are individuals who are always uh, um, um, you know opening their hands to get support. They don't think that a refugee can also support. So I think there are many misconceptions, but if I summarize, those are the ones that I was able to recognize in my daily work. And I'm happy that there are many organizations that are working to, address those misconceptions to make sure that even companies and organizations can understand that refugees are capable enough, they're worth enough to be given a chance to study, attend universities, attend schools, gain knowledge and skills and experience, and then they prove that they are not poor
Right.
mentally and physically as people think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you highlighted that there are different organizations that are trying to really support refugees and trying to let people know that refugees are beyond their statuses. They are contributors, to the economy of the country. And I just wanted to know, how does that affect refugee individuals? Like how does those misconceptions about how unable they are, incapable they are, and how like how people see them as someone who can't do anything, or as people who are just there. How does that affect refugees maybe in accessing higher education, or maybe in accessing other opportunities?
So misconception, that's a very nice question. So misconceptions are very bad and affect refugees in most especially mentally in the way they think. Because if I go to apply somewhere, and for people before they even check my ability to do the work, they will criticize the status before they give me a work and a task to complete. And then maybe they can judge if I do it well, or if I fail to do it. In that way, I can understand that maybe I'm failing because I'm unable to complete a task. But if you judge my status before you see what I can bring on the table, it's very problematic. And so continuous, if people continue reminding refugees that they are not able, they are poor, they are weak, so it kills their mindset,
Mm.
and it continues to tell them they are down, and they are weak. And those misconceptions again, that it restrict refugees from getting opportunity that they deserve, like work, as I continue to reflect, work, education, because there are some countries where for people to get in, for people to get admissions, they should be nationals, or they have um, paperwork that proves that they have where they come from. They have national IDs, but refugees, they don't have national IDs. They have refugee cards. So those misconceptions, uh, first of all, it limits refugees to think about themselves and grow, because they are always reminded that they are weak and poor. And the second one, it because some of the employers continue to think that refugees are weak, and then it affects the way refugees get the opportunities, because
Mm-hmm.
um, not every, I would say, not every employers or companies believe that refugees can do the work. In that sense, I would say that it will be very hard for refugees to get in, to get a job and thrive.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that. And I totally agree. Especially even not for refugees, low self-esteem is real. And imposter syndrome is real, not just for refugees, but all over the globe. So I can imagine if you already have, self-doubt, and you also know that outside nobody trusts you, nobody believes that you can do the work. It really affects a lot, whether it's emotionally and even, navigating the job opportunities. And I mean, you've been working with refugees, so I'm curious to know if maybe there is a moment or a situation that has really impacted your life in your experience working with refugees.
So because I work with refugees mostly. There are people that I interact with because I would say most of my time, I spend most of my time in class
Yeah.
teaching, and I'm always with the refugees. So I would say I don't have a specific moment which shaped, I mean, which you say that experience that influenced me.
Yeah, like maybe an experience that really stood out and has really impacted your life. It can be maybe a scenario where you interacted with a refugee and you were inspired, or any moment that really stood out for you with your experience working with refugees.
Yeah. So my as I highlighted, most of my work is to facilitate, to teach some of the courses, and also help students navigate the labor market, to
Hmm.
see after studying, are they able to secure internships or jobs. But as we even discussed like a few seconds ago about misconception that people have around refugees. So I have an advisory, like 20 people that I advise, other than being in class. And then there was an opportunity. It was an opportunity, and then we shared the opportunity in the group that the student had to apply. And then they applied. They went for interview, and one of my advisors were able to secure. I mean, to be shortlisted, was able to be shortlisted, and he did a very good job, and he impressed the panelists,
Wow.
and I was something that impressed me is the way they came back. I mean, panelists called me because I was the one who recommended students to go and apply, and then panelists called me and say, "How is this possible? This is beyond our imagination." And
Yeah.
you know why they were impressed?
Hmm.
They were in place. They couldn't believe that a refugee can perform that well. And
Wow.
then they had to call me and say, what do you do to these students
Yeah.
to help them improve? And then that reminded me that we are doing a very amazing job, and we should continue doing it, because it's really transformative. Working refugees, seeing them, I mean, getting enrolled, they it's because of weak educational background in high school. They struggle transitioning from high school to higher education, but the transformation is beyond imagination. Like 6 months in the campus, uh, 8 months in the campus, you could see how they're booming, how they're growing, and
Hmm.
and those simple scenario happens. You getting feedback from employers that a person is doing an amazing job. You getting feedback from different people, and it increase the confidence as an educator, and continue to uh, increase my spirit that the work that we're doing for refugees is amazing, and it is recognized by people. I mean, partners that work with universities,
Wow.
universities which work with refugees at the same time.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing that because as you highlighted, refugees are skilled, they just need guidance like the one that you're giving them, you know. I mean, they were surprised as anyone could be because again, like the misconception is that refugees are not capable of doing anything, and as you said, they just need really helping hands. They are willing to do the work, they are skilled, but they just need somebody to believe in them, somebody like you to trust in them and show them the way and so that they can follow. So thank you so much for sharing that, and shout out to the team and yourself as well for the work that you guys are doing for refugees, making sure that refugees are not just going to school, but they are also getting jobs. They are being self-reliant and also be change makers in their communities. And what would be your message to someone who may be there are people who would love to say, "Oh, I want to stand with refugees. I want to support refugees," but where do I start from, or how do I do it? So, what would be your advice to those people?
You mean refugee who wants to jump in?
Like maybe any other person who would say that I want to stand with refugees, you know, I want to stand with in solidarity with refugees. I want to support refugees anyway, in you know, in any way. Like what would be your message? Like people want to support, but maybe they don't know how to do it and how to, you know, to make sure that they're supportive. So what would be your advice as someone who has been working with refugees?
This is a very good question. Thank you. So there are so many ways to stand with refugees. And the first one, I'll talk. I will speak from the educator's perspective. As I said, we teach refugees, but the journey doesn't stop there. They need to be hired.
Yeah.
So one way to stand with solidarity with refugees is employers understanding that refugees are skilled enough, then give them internship and jobs for them to thrive. So even allowing them to participate to the, I mean, exams, and then give them a chance to showcase what they can do. And then if they perform well in the interviews with others, and with others in a competition, and then
Hmm.
it will be nice. So one of many ways to stand with refugees is to give them job and give them a place where they can apply, you know, and compete. So the other way is to volunteer. For example, if there are so many organizations, NGOs that are meant to, support refugees. So if you volunteer your time and you work with them, I believe that that would be a very nice move to support refugees and make sure that they are thriving, they are surviving in this world. And um, the other way to support stand with refugees is to um, volunteer. I talked about volunteering, but you can also start in an organization, even though it's
Hmm.
somehow challenging.
Yeah.
Um, you start in an organization, because if you come in a camp, refugee camp, you will see there are so many issues. There are so
Hmm.
many issues happening. If a, a person is want to come and support them, so there are so many issues that they can come and observe and see, and if their attention, if the issues catch attention of people, and then it will be a time for people to come together and form organization that come to address the needs, or that comes to address issues that refugees are facing in the refugee camps.
Oh yeah, that's so great that you mentioned that because sometimes we just focus on one issue. We focus on maybe education, but we forget about, mental health. We forget about employment and all other needs. So I'm glad that you highlighted that there are a lot of issues that a person can address. There are a lot of roles that you can play to supporting refugees. And maybe to wrap up, we have like more than 120 million of displaced people across the globe. And so I would like to know what would be your message to these refugees and these displaced persons around the world.
Um, First of all, I would start saying Happy World Refugee Day 2025. It's a day to recognize and celebrate the resilience of refugees across the continent, across the world. So one message that I can give to each and every refugee that will get a chance to listen to this podcast or what this podcast is that um, is to see themselves in a very positive lens,
Mm,
to avoid looking at themselves in the same lens that some other people are looking at them.
mm,
Be positive and do not think that life is going to be hard as it is right now, because every day is a chance to work and improve on ourselves, and we grow, become a very better version of ourselves. So I would say that let's be positive and
mm,
optimistic that the future holds the very best. And only thing that refugees can do is to take actions and
mm,
work, uh, go to school, learn, even though there are some challenges. But of course, there are, even though we talk about negative parts, but we also have to accept that nowadays, at least, there are some organizations working to make sure that refugees are attending education,
mm,
attending higher education schools. So I would tell them to take a chance and then use available opportunities like scholarship available.
mm,
Uh, so for them to grow and become the very better version of themselves. And I believe that the future holds the best. And only thing that they can do is to take actions and
mhm.
work hard, attend schools, get employment, and address challenges in their ways with the help of opportunities that are available. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was a great reminder, and also a message of hope that refugees are not alone. The organizations trying to support them, and also a call to action, for other people to really stand with refugees practically, just beyond words. And I would say that I myself am inspired by that message. And thank you so much for encouraging us and encouraging other refugees around the world. And yeah, I would say that thank you so much for your time. I know it's always hard nowadays to get time, especially due to the tight schedule. You're working, making sure that refugees are going to school and getting jobs. So I'm glad that you made time for this episode, and I have no doubt that people will be inspired. And yeah, I just want to say a happy World Refugee Day. And I can't wait to celebrate it tomorrow. And yeah, to everyone who will be watching this episode, please stand with refugees, just and not just for World Refugee Day, but even beyond. We can stand with refugees every day, and let's be beyond words. Let's be practical. Let's feed refugees. Let's educate refugees. Let's employ refugees, and let's stand with refugees every day. Thank you so much, and stay safe.